I want to open with a discussion of this news that's been broiling all over the esports world. Member of The Mob, a content group that was picked up by 100 Thieves, made some accusations towards 100 Thieves and Nadeshot specifically that they were being exploitative. They didn't treat them right. And then Nadeshot fired back with a stream today. It was a group of 4 creators. None of them were particularly big on YouTube or Twitch, but they were pretty big on social media. I know this because I remember when I worked at Twitch, Avalanche followed me, and then he was DMing me when I worked there. But then when I quit the job at Twitch, I DM'd him, and I was like, hey, I heard you guys just got signed for 100 Thieves. Do you want to do an interview with me and Stans on our new podcast? And he didn't respond and unfollowed me. Like less than 2 years later, maybe a year and a half later, the whole thing disbands under shady circumstances. That was the end of the story until now. And Frosty tweeted, damn, I missed the mob house. Imagine we had enough money to where we didn't have to stress over where our next meal was coming from. Could have done some big things, but I guess we'll never know. And that kicked off a whole fucking bunch of drama. Frosty said they flew him out. They put him up in a house. The house's rent cost more than they were making from 100 Thieves. But as I looked more into it, it looks more like the mob chose that house. The main fucking point that Frosty has is that they were locked into a deal where 100 Thieves was taking 95% of revenue from brand deals, including brand deals that the mob got themselves. So for example, the main reason 100 Thieves would take a cut of your brand deal is because they bring it to you. That their sales agents, their account managers go out to a brand like Doritos or Uno or whatever. They sell the deal. They come back to you. They take a cut and then you fulfill the deliverables. You do the stream.
We would retain 85% of revenue.
Now, 85 is still a massive amount. So taking 85% of their revenue for anyone is crazy. And I think everyone's picking random sides in this and dunking on people. And Frosty seems like he's kind of a goofy kid I watched his response and, he's saying cap a lot. So I could just tell he's not really as put together as Nadeshot here. So it was 95%. And according to Frosty, they were getting signed around the time the Tfue stuff happened. And so they went to 100 Thieves and they said, hey, our deal looks worse than Tfue's. And everyone's making fun of Tfue for his deal. Is there any way we can get a better deal? And they changed it from 95 to 85. Now this part's more interesting.
So they have to pay rent. They have to find the home. We help them find the home. They choose the $10,000 a month house. Okay?
So if they chose it, and it sounds like Nadeshot's correct. I don't think he's lying here and saying they didn't choose the house, and I think Frosty backed it up. If the mob is getting paid $2,500 a month each, and they chose a $10,000 a month house, I mean, that's dumb. You don't want to take 100% of your paycheck and put it towards rent. When they had internet issues, I guess they repeatedly complained about it, but as somebody who has recently had internet issues on my part-time streaming project, I have bent heaven and earth to get my internet improved. Like this stream is not even my livelihood. And I have you guys don't know how fucking consistently I've been calling, texting, emailing Spectrum, trying to get some fucking resolution. And I've made progress. Like my stream has had fewer Fs. I finally got a better line. Don't say F right now. Fuck you. They could have eaten cheaper. What is this? Oh. Yeah, I saw this. So they were talking about how we didn't have to stress out over where our next meal was coming from. And then Optic Blake here posts a photo from their house. I don't know that you were being as efficient with the money. The mob got paid more than I did when I first got signed at TSM. And again, that's also a bad deal because especially if that's his first year contract, they were blowing up. But he turned this into a massive growth opportunity, right? He leveraged it in that moment to become one of the biggest creators in the world. There's a chance, like it's a spark. And at the end of the day, if you're not going to push for it, I think it's going to be very difficult, no matter how generous the org is being, to make a content creation career.
I had thought that we were giving them a big opportunity, okay? From individuals that were averaging just a couple hundred viewers, if not lower some days, having them be a part of a tier 1 organization like 100 Thieves, I thought on top of the fact that we brought them out to LA and we moved 4 best friends into a home together, I thought that this could only be productive. This could only be, the perfect situation and scenario for all of these guys.
I think if you've been in esports and gaming as long as Nate has, you should know that's almost not the case. If you take 4 young gamer best friends, you move into a dream content house, give them some money, and leave it up to them, they'll fucking smoke weed all day. They're not going to do shit. And I think Nate Shot's example of himself is fair. He moved into the Optic house, and he was doing fucking 8 hours of streaming, uploading YouTube videos every day. He's got a pretty good quote in here. He's like, I didn't want to go back to working at McDonald's.
And so that's why we're up every single day in the master bedroom of the content house, stacked 5 heads deep on fold out tables and chairs, streaming 12 hours a day. You finish your stream, you get off, you upload a YouTube video, you go to sleep, you wake up, you do it again. Every fucking day. Every day. Because I wasn't going back to fucking McDonald's and I wasn't going back to community college.
What content? They barely made any? That's what I'm saying. They're, like, when I watched Frosty's stream and Nate Shot was talking about YouTube, but Frosty pauses the video and goes, if you don't know how to do YouTube, it's impossible. You don't make any money on it. Yeah, we didn't upload YouTube videos because we didn't. Every YouTube video we uploaded got 200 views, so we didn't do it. And it's like, okay. I think they expected it to be easier or different. 100 Thieves to help more. And so I can't really fault 100 Thieves for dropping them for sure. Yeah, so here's the thing. If you watch this whole video, it comes out to he's getting $2,500 a month salary. They can get up to $2K in sponsorships. From streaming. They got something from brand deals. Nate Shot, 100 Thieves took a big cut of it, but it's definitely enough to live. The whole idea that it wasn't enough to live is just, it feels crazy. It feels crazy for them to say they couldn't make it work. Sure, it's enough to live, but is it enough to DoorDash 3 times a day? That's the real question. Is it enough to DoorDash 3 times a day? So there was a big part of Nate Shot's stream. He talks about how they had a Fireball Friday contract and they weren't doing deliverables for it. And that reminded me of our own Fireball Friday situation because we were part of that same contract. And I think we missed deliverables. Deliverables were crazy. Again, I just to give a little bit of insight here, those guys were changing what they wanted frequently. I also remember that Mizkif, I think, did none of the actual obligations when we were supposed to do them, on the first Fridays, and then proceeded to do Fireball Friday for free for the next year and a half. The S3K house. Dude, the S3K house is a good example. I would not have set this up. I feel like Neg has streamed less than he ever did since he joined that house. Tweeting about being underpaid when you have editors that have never even received a dime for videos, more than 10 vids myself is wild, but y'all want to talk about that. Damn, you unpaid as editors? Shit, not looking good. This and that are bad looks, Frosty. But I don't want to let orgs off the hook in general on a wider lens. And I really wish we could get away from the days in esports of all time of locking people into 85% deals, 95% deals. Feels like I lost a little brother today, but this is life. I'm moving on. I look forward to keeping in touch with the rest of the mob and be the first to answer their call if they need help. I ask the courageous 100 Thief fans to move on too. Feels like I lost a little brother today. This is a classic Courage tweet, dude. Courage writes tweets like he's in the Civil War and he's writing a letter back home. This shot here sums it all up. Damn, it's going to sum it all up? That'll be great.
Genuinely, okay, Delgado deal, we kind of fucked that up a little bit. I'm not going to lie. Mostly because, how strict they were and, everything they wanted us to do. It was annoying as fuck, I'm going to be honest. And they weren't paying us that much money to really give a shit about it. So, yeah, we half-assed the shit out of that. I'll give them that. We fumbled that. Okay,
Bro, it's not looking good, Frosty. It's not looking good, man. It ain't looking good. Hard to grind when you only get 15% incentive? Well, okay, here's the deal. That's not true. They're getting 15% of sponsorships. And that's an exploitative deal. But that doesn't let them off the hook because streaming money, as far as I can tell, and they both agree with this, was 100% theirs. Everything he made from streaming or YouTube was his. If you're in a content house and your main thing to do all day is grow your personal brand and your team brand, that's your main job, and you have access to the 100 Thieves compound and maybe getting some guests that are big name celebrities like Valkyrie, etc., that's a pretty good starting point. Nobody can disagree that if you're trying to make it as a creator and you have a few hundred viewers, that's like the ideal. I remember when Ludwig, can I find this? Back when, you know, my Best Buy employee friend Ludwig started streaming and had 200 viewers, I made this for him because there was an application to get on 100 Thieves and he wanted to do it. And I was like, man, your application looks like shit. And I make decks a lot for my job. Ludwig Ogreneg's 100 Thieves. Hey, I'm Ludwig. You're 100 Thieves. I'm a gaming content creator with passionate fans, endless energy, and a strong growth story on Twitch. You are the best incubator of content creators in the world with an already legendary brand. Yeah, he had 314 average viewers, bro. But you know what I'm saying? So at this level of size, this is what Frosty got. 100. I mean, obviously they laughed Ludwig out of the fucking room, dude. This did not. Imagine if this worked. That's what happened to Frosty. And I think you should be a little more appreciative of that situation. By the way, this is what I wrote. I made this fucking slide, just to be clear. Just the beginning. Yeah, I did. And you know what? And this next slide says he caps out at 2K. The next slide goes, he caps out at 2K though. So don't think about too much. He's gonna stop. He's gonna cap out. I guess if I had to sum it all up, man, I would just say, you know, Frosty, clearly you probably shouldn't have brought this up at all. It's not a good look. There's a lot of holes in this story that are piling up. And at the end of the day, you certainly could have done more with what you were given. Let's not let every big org in esports off the hook on deals. Because imagine they did blow up and they started getting big sponsor money, Tfue style. We'd be having an entirely different conversation right now about how the mob's getting completely fucking wrecked by their 100 Thieves deal.
I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody. The double champ does what the he wants.
A lot of personal growth I've seen today. Hey, a lot of personal growth.